Imagine a luxury vessel in the middle of a vast, dark ocean. The environment is perfectly controlled and sanitized until a deadly pathogen slips aboard. On March 20th, the MV Hondius departed from Ushuaia, Argentina. Carrying 150 tourists and 70 crew members, the ship began a multi-week polar expedition bound for Cape Verde. Weeks into the journey, that isolation became a liability. Passengers began falling violently ill, presenting with severe fevers and abdominal pain. The medical situation escalated quickly. A 70-year-old Dutch passenger died as the ship approached St. Helena. Shortly after, his wife collapsed and passed away in a hospital. A 69-year-old British national was medically evacuated to an intensive care unit in Johannesburg. While back on the ship, 2 crew members fell into critical condition. Within days, the MV Hondius became a stranded quarantine vessel, carrying 3 casualties and an unidentified killer. When laboratory results returned for the hospitalized British passenger, they identified the culprit as hantavirus. Hantavirus is typically contracted through environmental exposure. A person breathes in airborne particles from dried rodent urine or feces. Finding this specific virus on a polar cruise ship is an epidemiological anomaly. It is a disease of rural, rodent-infested barns and fields, not a sanitized vessel navigating the deep ocean. The presence of a rodent-borne pathogen miles from land forces investigators to determine if the virus has bypassed traditional transmission rules. Epidemiologists suspect a specific variant, the Andes strain. It is the most common form of the virus in South America, where the voyage began. This strain triggers a rapid, aggressive immune response, where the patient's lungs fill with fluid, making it nearly impossible to breathe. There is no cure, only supportive measures like ventilators and dialysis. For those who develop severe symptoms, the mortality rate is approximately 45%. Because survival depends on immediate access to intensive care, a confined ship thousands of miles from a hospital is the deadliest place to be infected. The investigation faces a wide window of uncertainty. Hantavirus has an incubation period of up to 8 weeks. Theory 1 suggests pre-boarding exposure, where tourists encountered high-risk environments in Argentina weeks before the ship left the dock. Theory 2 focuses on ship contamination. Investigators must determine if infected rodents infiltrated the vessel's food supplies or cabins while it was in port. Finally, Theory 3 considers a more alarming prospect, that in the close quarters of a cruise ship, the Andes strain is spreading directly between passengers. Identifying which of these paths occurred is the only way to determine if the outbreak has peaked or if more cases are imminent. Currently, the MV Hondius is at anchor off the coast of Cape Verde, effectively serving as a floating quarantine zone. However, the ship is caught in a geopolitical bottleneck. Local authorities have not yet authorized the disembarkation of the sick crew members for treatment on land. This has triggered a complex international effort as Dutch authorities work to repatriate the deceased and coordinate care for the remaining symptomatic passengers. It is a reminder of how quickly sovereign borders close when a severe pathogen is detected, leaving those at sea isolated from the medical infrastructure they need. Because of that 8-week incubation window, the surviving passengers and crew are living through a period of agonizing uncertainty. The central question remains: are more asymptomatic people on board currently carrying a disease that will manifest in the coming days? The incident highlights a gap in global biosecurity. Modern travel moves far faster than the incubation periods of many rare and deadly pathogens. The MV Hondius is a warning that long incubation viruses can bypass standard screening, turning a luxury voyage into an inescapable epidemiological trap.